Right, so what I thought I'd start off with is my big theory. So I've been keen on looking at it, and I've been interested in technology and the history of it. Now this theory I've got is based on Kondratiev waves, if anybody's ever heard of those. Kondratiev waves. If you can read it, it's the idea that technology generates and his were 50, I've done it on 60 years rather than 50 because it fits better into my theory. But a lot of economists don't accept this. Some do. Some think it is quite important. But I like it as a way, as like an aide memoire. It gives you a feeling for what's been happening here over the period. If you start from 1780, water power, steam power, electrical power, combustion power, communicating and storing information, and then to computing information. Mine isn't quite like that. This is actually a drawing at the time, and what do you think it's about? Any idea what that is a satire on?
Liverpool Railway itself.
Yeah, it is. It's the opening of the railway station and the link between Manchester and Liverpool in 1830.
Oh.
And this was seen as taking the mickey out of people who were using canals and stuff like at the same time, and and people who were riding horses. They were all going to have to become buskers in order to survive. I think that's the joke. And that, of course, you'll recognise this, won't you? And the warehouse and the railway station is not as it was, but a lot of it was, and it's being done up now and should be open, I think, next year. And that was the locomotive that was used in the first journey, called Planet. Now, the picture on the right I took, I've been involved at Factory International looking at future technology. Every time I walked from where I parked my car just nearby to the Factory International, I came across that view. And that view, if you look at it, kind of summarises where Manchester's at. On the right is the 1830 building, the warehouses, and in the background you can see the skyscrapers. I thought it was a kind of an interesting reflection on where we've been and where we're going to. So my first wave was the 1830s wave of railway transport, which was hugely important. If you think about it, going from as fast as you can go on a canal barge or even on a horse was nothing compared with a train. I think it's the biggest step up in transport of the lot, because cars don't go any faster than trains. So it was a really big technological change, and it's a point in which Manchester was in a kind of world lead, an important world position in this area. This one is the Manchester Ship Canal. It took apparently 17,000 labourers to do it. They did it in a relatively short period of time. They used 200 miles worth of temporary rail track, 180 locomotives, 6,000 trucks and wagons, and 124, new technology here, steam-powered cranes and excavators. If you were a navvy, many of them Irish immigrants, the average one could do, it claimed, it seems unbelievable to me, I think it was how much? 20 tons a day. 20 tons. That's unbelievable, isn't it? And at the same time, 1,100 of them were killed, died during the making of it as well. So it was a very significant thing. Actually making Manchester a seaport required the kind of vision which you just don't imagine people do have. But what an achievement. Anyway, so that's my second one. This is my third wave. And this is where I'm saying Manchester is at the forefront of really important technological and this was the baby. People aware of the baby? The first stored program, electronic digital computer. And it was done at Manchester University with people like Tom Kilburn, various others as well. And that was in 1948. There's another picture of it. Doesn't quite fit under your desk, does it? The Ferranti Mark I. So they've managed to box it up to look a bit better. I think the only firm that bought any from them was Lions. You know, the coffee shop, the Lions cafes that they had for their looking after their central information. So one of the problems with, and this is what problem I think British engineering has generally, is that we're very good with coming up with ideas. Turning them into a profit is something we're not as good at. And unfortunately, they only sold a few of those. Aha, he was wondering what I was going to do for the last one, didn't he? Graphene. Well, you're all familiar with graphene. Now, this is another tale of where I think things have gone badly wrong. It was at Manchester University with two Russian scientists. They both got the Nobel Prize. Sir Andrei Gaim and Professor Kosta Novoselov, 2004. And basically, it was groundbreaking work, making, if you like, graphene from graphite, making it that thin and strong. And it's now used in electronics, composites, healthcare. It's estimated to be a market worth £3 billion by 2029. But, and that's the new labs that they've got. They've got a new Graphene Institute, which costs 61 million. And then the Graphene Engineering Innovation Centre, another 60 million. A lot of money at the university. But I've been told by somebody from a firm who's tried to do business with them on this, that they are the worst example of a university who doesn't know what they're doing. Rather than just employing recent graduates who were graduates in the subject areas but who knew nothing about business. And so the end result of that is that they call themselves now, because everybody likes the idea factory in their name, Manchester Innovation Factory. That's at the university. They've had a fantastic amount of money ploughed into them. They've got 44 full-time staff, an estimated budget of £3 to £4 million. And how many spin-outs have they, out of them? 7. Compared with Oxford, 15, Cambridge, 26. We've not really built on what we've got. Somehow, the management of these things haven't got the nous on what to do. That's just my view of it. Manchester ranks amongst top universities for spin-out company formation. That's why, because there are so few of them. They're going to end up as 4th or 5th in it anyway, because there aren't any others. This is my positive view of the future. So at Hackspace Manchester, I went there. It's in Ancoats, in an old mill, which we've still got some of them where you can go and work in it and have the desk there in it for £25 a month. And in it, they've got equipment like this. There are some of the young people working at it. It's chaotic, but they've got 3D printers, 3D scanners. They've got all sorts of electronic equipment that they've, I wouldn't say beg, steal and borrow, because they don't do anything illegal, but they find second-hand equipment, do them up or repair them, and I think it's a hub of innovation. It's these sorts of people we should be encouraging to develop things that can make Manchester, make us able to get into, use the history as an inspiration. But just one example of that, one of the factories we went to when we were trying to stop them being closed down was Crumpsall Biscuit Works. And I went there and looked at the equipment. There were women stacking up the biscuits by hand. And I thought the only way that this place could survive was by turning it into a living museum, where people could see people using old-fashioned equipment making, artisanal biscuits. No, everybody thought I was joking on that, but I wasn't really. It would have been one possibility to have kept it going, but it didn't. It went. I think the title I tried to stop Crumpsall Biscuit Factory Crumbling. Get it? I'm very good on those sort of titles.